I am so happy with how this looks for the Rangers. We have a pitcher, Jack Leiter, and he is a dude.
And while I do think his hitting is worse than Derek Jeter, it's not that far off.
You're not mentioning 2006. You can mention the other people, not 2006.
Oh, just because I bought the best soap doesn't mean your room's going to be clean. It just leaves it to where I don't believe that the Canadians had a shot.
I really don't like the Clippers just kind of sending it in when they're like...
Hi, this is Kelly Forbes with the Dallas Stars, and listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. As the season continues to come close, we are doing top 10s and kind of reviewing who are the best guys right now. And now we are currently at shooting guard. So, Austin, I'll let you go first with your honorable mentions.
I have an honorable mention for a couple guys on this one. CJ McCollum, I have an honorable mention for. I also have an honorable mention for Kobe White, and I have an honorable mention for Anthony Simons, if he's going to be starting in shooting guard. We'll see what happens there. But I think this is going to be... I think shooting guard is one of the weaker positions. I think if you're really, really good, you just play point guard for most of the teams now. But I'm excited to see who are your honorable mentions.
So, yeah, I only CJ McCollum's great honorable mention. Another honorable mention for me is Josh Hart. He's really a guy that just gets after and can do a lot for the Knicks.
Yeah, we can go right into my 10. My 10 is Josh Hart. I think he deserves to be on this list because of his ability to not just rebound, but also play defense and be a very consistent scorer. I don't know if you know this, but I believe, or at least for the large majority of the season, he had the best 2-point percentage in the league. And that includes centers, which is insane. So his finishing around, okay, it didn't end there at the end of the year, but his 2-point percentage, shots on twos, he shot 61.8%, Kevin, last year. So if he's taking something around the rim, he's able to finish. Last year, he averaged 14, 10, and 6, which for a shooting guard is amazing. So I think he deserved 10, but I understand having him as honorable mention. I feel like that is a reasonable spot.
He was almost my 10. But I was kind of looking at guys, and I kept adding guys in. And, my 10 is Cam Thomas with the Brooklyn Nets. I think he continues to become a huge scorer for them. And that's kind of what primarily the shooting guard is for. And that's why a lot of them get moved to point guard, is just because you want the ball in their hands because they score. But some of them can't really develop that passing ability. But if they can do well at it, it's good for them. And I think Cam Thomas is just going to be a huge scorer for the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay. My number 9 is Dyson Daniels. He averaged... did he average three steals per game last year, or was it just under? Let me check. It was either 2.9 or 3.0, I think. It may have been more than that, actually. It was 3.0. Nice. So he was second defensive player of the year voting. He averaged 14, 6 rebounds, 4.4 assists, while averaging 3 steals per game. He also shot 49% from the field, 34% from 3. He shot poorly from free throw. That was his worst problem. But besides that, I mean, what would you not want? He also averaged 0.7 blocks per game. Amazing player for the Suns last year. And now that Jalen Johnson's healthy, the wings for them look amazing.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Dyson Daniels does and continues to do. But now that's your 9. So my 9 is Norman Powell, who kind of really had a resurgence this past year with the Clippers. Had a hot start, great from 3, and I'm interested to see how he does with the Miami Heat. And I think he plays well and could be a great scorer for them, especially given what he showed for the Clippers this past year. So that's why he's at my 9.
Yeah. My 8 is Austin Reeves for the Lakers. He averaged just over 20 points per game last year and was a major reason why the Lakers ended up even making the playoffs last year with all the injuries that they had. He averaged 20, he averaged 4.5 rebounds and 5.8 assists. He averaged 1.1 steals while shooting 37.7% from the three-point line. Also shot almost 88% from free throw. So he's a great player, and I think he's a top 10 shooting guard as well.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit higher. That he's your 8, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so my 8 is Amon Thompson with the Rockets. He's someone that started to develop much better in his second year with the Rockets, and I think continues to do well and is going to be a solid piece for the Rockets as they have Kevin Durant. And they're going really for that championship. And to me, he's just a great defender and has worked on his shooting. So that's why he's my 8. And then we can go right into my 7, which is Austin Reeves. I think he has a little bit better. He's a great scorer and should do well offensively for the Lakers, just given that it's going to be hard to guard Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron. And I believe Austin Reeves receives a lot of it has a lot more opportunities given less attention to him because you have LeBron and Luka on the same team. But the problem is defensively how they all make that work. And I don't know how well Austin Reeves will do this season on defense.
Yeah, I totally understand that. My 7 is Desmond Bane. Bane got traded to Orlando, and it figures to be by far their best shooter. They have Paolo, who can't really shoot all that well, and Franz Wagner, who's not the best shooter. They shot 31.8% from the three-point line last year, and Bane will have a big opportunity to not only score a lot of points, but obviously a lot of threes. He also can create pretty well. He's a great passer. Last year, he had a down year. I think it's partially because of John missing some time and also the other injuries that they had around him. But Bane, I think, will have a very good season this year. I think he'll come back to his 24 points per game, come back to a little bit of those higher three-point percentage numbers that we saw his first 3 seasons.
Yeah, I agree that he'll be much better, and that's why I'm a little bit higher than you than 7. I'll go into my 6, which is Jalen Williams for the Thunder. And I know we talked about kind of just how basketball is a fluid sport, so it's hard. I'm talking about Jalen Williams, the second in command for the Thunder, even though they have 2 Jalen Williams. And he was listed as a shooting guard on Basketball Reference.
I don't have him as a shooting guard, unfortunately. Last year, what's crazy is that he was a shooting guard listed on Basketball Reference. I know that. He played 11% of his time at shooting guard. He actually played triple that time at power forward last year, 32%.
At power forward, okay.
And he played 56% of his time at small forward. He's a small forward for me. I have him listed at small forward.
Because I was going to have him on my small forward list, but then, Basketball Reference has him as a shooting guard.
I look at the percentage numbers to decide mine. Like, for example, Zach LaVine won't be on this list because last year he played 52% of his time at small forward. So I have him at small forward. So that's why I don't have him. I think this year that Jalen Williams will also be a small forward. I think they'll probably play Dort at shooting guard, play Shed at power forward, Isaiah Hartenstein at center. So I don't have him on this list, but I understand why you have him.
Yeah, I think he's a fantastic player and he's going to continue to grow in that role for the Thunder. And it's kind of necessary for them if they want to have a dynasty to get that top never level player. But he's great defensively and has shown his offensive capabilities over the years.
Was that your 6?
Yes, that was my 6.
Okay. My 6 is Tyler Hero. Hero is going to miss the beginning of the season with an injury. And I know you had Norman Powell on this list, but I think Hero will be the one who plays shooting guard for them. He averaged 24 points per game last year and played a lot of games. He's a great shooter, great scorer, and I think that'll continue. He's also an underrated passer. Last year, he averaged almost 6 assists per game at 5.5, so I think that he'll also be able to distribute pretty well.
Yeah, Tyler Hero's not on my list. He's someone that I've kind of viewed as like he's starting to get overrated, kind of given what he's doing, so I left him off my list because he is a great scorer, but I viewed these guys better than him, which kind of leads me into my 5. Desmond Bane has been fantastic, and I'm really excited to see what he does for Orlando. I think he reaches kind of what you were saying with the 24 points and just is going to be a great shooter and scorer for the Magic. While he can do some passing, I think he had to fill in a lot for John Morant when he just wasn't playing games. So I think he really excels in his role with Orlando.
Okay. That was your 5?
Yes, that was my 5.
My 5 is Amin Thompson. Amin was a great player coming out of the Overtime Elite Academy, was drafted 4th overall, and last year really turned into his own. He averaged 4 assists per game, 8.2 rebounds, 1.4 steals, 1.3 blocks, 14.1 points, and I think he'll only continue to grow. I think he will play, even though he's listed as a small forward on Basketball Reference, I think he will play shooting guard this year because of the addition of Kevin Durant. I think Durant will probably play small forward and he will play shooting guard, especially with the absence of Fred VanVleet this season. So I think for this year, he will definitely be a shooting guard. And that kind of fits his ability to score, but also facilitate some. And while he still needs to work on his three-pointer, he's such a great defender that that's why I have him here.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's going to be a shooting guard, given with the addition of Kevin Durant, and I have Kevin Durant playing a small forward as well. But now we can go into my 4, which is Jaylen Brown, who's kind of been, they kind of wanted him to be his point guard, but I view him best as a shooting guard. But now it's going to be interesting given just the Jason Tatum injury. So I would understand if you put him at small forward, given that he's going to play, he might play there a lot. But I believe they keep him at shooting guard, and he's a great scorer and a fantastic defender. But kind of when we get into that top 3 for me, they are just fantastic scorers, and that's why they're a great shooting guard. So that's why he's at my 4.
Okay. My number 4 is Jaylen Brown for the Celtics.
Okay.
He's going to be without Tatum this year. So
Okay.
What were you going to say?
You and I have met the same because he's my 4 as well.
Yeah. I think because of Tatum's absence, he's going to have the ability to not only create, but also score a lot more points. He's also one of their better defenders. So I definitely think he should be here. I'll go into my 3. My 3 is Devin Booker. I think Booker will move to last year he kind of played point guard, but he also played shooting guard. He'll be shooting guard this season, I feel like, and so I have him on my shooting guard list. He's averaging, last year he averaged his most assists per game, though, at 7.1. He also shot poorly from 3, but I think that'll change this year because they have kind of bolstered their ability to shoot a little bit by adding Jalen Green and adding some other guys, but they don't have the star scorers like Kevin Durant or Bradley Beal around them. They do have Mark Williams at center, so that'll be a good piece for them, but I think Booker will be very good this year.
I agree, and that's why he's my 3 as well. So we have 4 and 3 right. I'll go into my 2, and I'm curious to see who your 2 and 1 are. My 2 is Anthony Edwards.
Okay. My 2 is Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. I had Anthony Edwards at 1, then I put Donovan Mitchell back at 1 because Donovan Mitchell was an MVP candidate, was early in the MVP conversation. And to me, it's such a great defensive year last year. The offensive input also was incredible. That's why I gave him the edge, because I view Donovan Mitchell as a better defender than Anthony Edwards, even though Anthony Edwards at points has made some great defensive plays and is just a fantastic scorer. He's athletic. These 2 are really incredible. And so I was curious to see where you go, because I know you were talking a lot about Donovan Mitchell last year. So, but Anthony Edwards is my 2, and then Donovan Mitchell is my 1.
Yeah, I think Edwards has just proven himself to be just a touch above Mitchell. I think Mitchell still needs to prove to me with the Cavaliers in the playoffs that he can still contribute at the level that we all expect him to. Last year, he did play well in some of his games and also played horrible in some of his other games. If you look at his some of the games they ended up losing, especially against the Pacers last year. I do think that he can be an underrated player, and so I understand you having him at 1. But last year in a big game that they kind of needed to win after going down 2-1, he scored 12 points. But he also has games where he has 48 points and 43 points and 35 points. But when he loses, he's really bad. I mean, it's crazy that most of his games Kevin, are either above 30 or under 15. Like if I sort his playoff games, most of his games are over 30 or under 15. It's crazy. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. 8 games in his playoff career with under 15 points, which seems like a lot for a player like him. But if you go above 30, he has 31 games, 30 or more, which is extremely impressive. But I think that Ant has a higher scoring capability than him, but I think it's very close between the 2 of them. I think that if the Cavs at the 1 seed last year had beat the Pacers, I think I would probably have him above him. But now that Edwards has played in now 2 Western Conference Finals each of the last 2 seasons, I think it's only fair to have him just a touch above Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, it's a really interesting conversation, and it's a tough one to have because they're so great. But yeah, I totally understand it, and I like how you and I went different ways with 2 and 1. And yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.